right, we bring in our friend Richard Davenport here, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Richard, what is your preferred form of payment? Tommy and I were getting mad earlier that some places don't take cash, even though it's the American currency. What is your favorite form of payment?
I like to pay cash. It just depends on the purchase. Obviously, if it's a big purchase, credit card. But I mean, I'm good either way. But I try to budget myself each week, and I take out a certain amount of money each week as far as cash, and try to live on that, and then replenish it come Friday on payday.
There's a man with no kids at home.
What's the phrase? Cash is king.
Cash is king.
Cash is king. Do you have a?
But sales is God.
Are you good? Are you good at budget? Do you have a budget?
I'm really good with budget.
I don't have a budget, and that's probably
There's a man right here that's not married and has no kids.
A number of things I could work on. RD, I don't know if it's set in 100% this team's making the NCAA tournament, but they're in a hole right now. Maybe they win on Saturday in a miraculous fashion. They don't. I think Arkansas fans are going to pretty much check out. But in terms of what Cal's bringing in, Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas recently named McDonald's All-American. I know you recently just wrote about that, and just kind of the caliber of players along with Isaiah Ceeling you got in this class next year.
Well, I mean, you got two of the top 10 players in the country, 2 5-stars, as you just said, 2 McDonald's All-Americans, the only school in the SEC to have 2. Kentucky had 1 that no other school in the SEC had a McDonald's All-American. So obviously high caliber prospects and guys that obviously should make an impact next year. Acuff is your natural point guard, kind of a physical guard, point guard, and probably more so than most other point guards, especially coming out of high school. But he can do it all. When I say do it all, I mean inside, outside, 3-point shot. But he's not a great 3-point shot guy right now. Obviously, we'll have to work on that. Where Malik is more of a 3-point shooter. Shoots at 38% in overtime elite, which is good, but not just outstanding. But hey, they're having great seasons, and a lot of reasons to be excited about them getting on campus.
Richard Davenport with us. You talk about Ceeling there a moment. I think it's going to be an interesting game Friday night. I don't know if you're going to get over and watch it between Springdale High School and Springdale Harbor. Muldrew, Ceeling. That's going to be the Hudson kids. It's going to be an interesting first matchup of the season between the 2 crosstown rivals, and 2 of the prospects I think a lot of people keep their eye very closely on.
Yeah, and people in Northwest Arkansas obviously have the opportunity to see Ceeling and see a future Razorback, and we've talked about him, I guess with Cal, everybody expects a 5-star, and that's obviously he signs a bunch of 5-stars and traditionally, but he's also had good luck with guys that were 5-stars, 4-stars, and even 3-stars. So I think Ceeling has a possibility of being one of those guys that a lot of people were kind of sleeping on, and then realize later, man, this guy has got some skills. So I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised if they haven't ever seen him play.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to just see what the roster construction next year looks like. I think it'll be deeper than 9 players, and I think it'll be interesting to see how many freshmen ultimately sign and how many of these guys stick around. I'm kind of like Ty. I mean, the postseason seems like it's a far-fetched fairy tale right now for this year's team. So, I mean, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but roster construction for next year is one thing that drastically has to change compared to what kind of led you to this problem this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, really, high school-wise, you got Nate Pavement. I mean, he's really the only other guy that I'm aware of high school-wise. He's supposedly going to make a decision sometime in February or March, and has mentioned about making a visit to Arkansas. So we'll see if that happens. Obviously, if that doesn't happen, you can pretty much close the door on him. But I think the rest of the roster be pretty much transfers, as far as the additions. So, obviously we don't really have an idea what that's going to look like right now because the portal hasn't opened. But you obviously need some scorers. You need some guys that can shoot the ball. I guess that's the most disappointing thing is I think Davis was shooting 41% last year from three, and obviously he's not doing that this year. You kind of thought the roster was going to be able to score, but they struggle so much to score, and you could see that in the Oklahoma game, and their margin for error for the ability to win games is so small. They have to usually make up other areas where, as far as scoring, as far as rebounds, steals, and defensive rebounds and stuff like that in order to free throws like against Georgia in order to win. And it's such a small margin for them to be able to win with their lack of scoring.
Richard Davenport with us. RD, we've got a few texts about Lance Taylor at UCA, former Farmington kid. You think he could play in the SEC?
I would not bet against him. I really wouldn't. I think he's one of those guys that, he's a smaller guy in right around 5'11", 6 foot. But he's just a ball player, man. And he's hard to stop. I mean, you just don't see too many guys that look like him. Like kid, 5'11", playing point guard. But he's hard to stop. And who knows? We may see him at a Power 4 school later on after maybe another season at UCA, or maybe he may try to make a move after this season. Who knows? I just saw that, obviously he's out for the season with an injury, and I hate to see that, but great kid with, basketball skills that I don't think that his senior year that a lot of people really recognized enough. And he's just a basketball player.
Tommy kind of alluded to Isaiah Ceeling a little bit earlier. RD, is there any other kid and J.J. Andrews is probably the most notable with Sean being his dad and the lineage at the U of A. Any other kid in-state basketball-wise that fans just kind of need to keep an eye on, whether it's in Northwest, Central, Arkansas, or really any part of the state?
Off the top of my head, no, but I haven't really focused too much on basketball with the visits for football, but plan to get back into that and probably dig a little bit more on that.
I saw was 6'3" Sheridan offensive lineman just committed. Do I have that right? On junior day last week.
Yeah, Bradley Sturdivant. He's about 6'4", about 300. I'll tell you what, if you saw the picture that I posted with his commitment story, I mean, he fills out. I mean, he's a big kid. He's not, sometimes 6'4", 300. Not all kids 6'4", 300 look the same, and he looks top tier as far as his physical ability, as far as his physical looks. Very thick, all over, lower body, upper body. And I do remember him at the Arkansas lineman camp back last summer, and thinking, man, that dude, he was one of the best-looking guys there. And they had some pretty good offensive linemen that were upperclassmen that were, being recruited. But he looked as good or better than anybody there. And he was just just finishing his freshman year. He was going into his sophomore year. So really good-looking prospect. Good, anytime you see guys on the offensive line in the SEC, as far as commitments, they have the size, they have the physical abilities as far as good feet and athleticism, and he's got that.
That's where Kelly's at, right, Tommy? Am I misremembering that?
Kevin Kelly, yep.
Yeah.
Sylvan, yep. Sheridan, rather, not Sylvan. It was Sheridan. So, all right, RD, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch up with you next Wednesday.
Sounds good. See you guys.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football to NBA, college basketball to NHL and UFC, BetOnline is your number one sports betting source for the new year. From every touchdown to three-pointer and hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.